Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be taking you on a tour of our first garden. I've wanted a garden of my very own for as many years as I can remember. I have such fond memories of going to my grandma's house and picking raspberries and carrots and peas out of her garden, and I'm so excited to not only get to do that myself now as an adult, but to take Carson, my 6-year-old son, along for the ride as well. I think it's so important for him to get the chance to see how we get our food, the work that it takes to look after a garden, nourish a garden, and watch it grow, and of course to get to harvest and enjoy the fruits of our labor around the dinner table. So we actually built and planted these DIY raised garden beds on May long weekend this year, which means we are about 7 or so weeks into our growing season, and I'm excited to take you on a tour to show you how things are coming along. So let's get started. Okay friends, so we actually built 4 garden boxes. We're hoping to expand that to 7 or 8 for next year. 2 of our garden boxes measure 2 feet deep by 4 feet wide, because I read somewhere that your arm reach is about 2 feet and I didn't want to have to walk through the gardens. And then our bigger garden boxes measure 4 feet wide, so that's a reach of 2 feet in, by 8 feet long. So this first garden box, one of the smaller garden boxes, has a couple of raspberry plants which are just starting to bud. We've got some blueberries, which I can see are just starting to come in, a tomato plant. We've got some basil, some rosemary, some cilantro, which I've actually had to cut down because it was starting to flower. The chives are looking really great, and I can't wait to use those in some recipes. We've got some lemon thyme and regular thyme. And finally, I've got some strawberry plants. And this is a hot chili pepper. We were hoping to make our own salsa from a lot of our vegetables in the garden, so I was sure to plant some tomatoes and some peppers so that we can do that. Okay, now I do want to point out that I think I've probably planted a bit too much in each of these boxes. My eyes were bigger than my garden boxes. But I'm hoping that next year when we build out a few more boxes, I'll be able to transplant some of these bushes that I know are going to take up more space over the years, like my berry bushes. Alright guys, so the bigger box in behind was planted with some peas, which we've had to put up a little fence beside. We just use a bit of chicken wire and some, 1x2s, I guess. Stapled the chicken wire around the edge of the 1x2s, and then just fastened it with some screws to the edge of our garden. So the peas are growing beautifully. I'll see if I can take you around to the other side here. You can see they're just starting to curl around the fence there. They're looking really lush and green, and I can't believe how quickly these have taken off. Now on the other side of our fence, you'll see carrots. We've got 3 rows of carrots. 2 rows are rainbow carrots, 1 row is just regular orange carrots. Next to that, we've got some green onions and beets. Now I've had to, I should probably mention, I've had to thin out my beets a bit, because as I planted these from seed, some of the seeds ended up doubling up there. So I've had to thin it out, so just one plant is coming out from each little area, and I had to do the same with my carrots actually too. Now I'll take this chance to mention that we do save our eggshells and used coffee grounds to throw into our garden as well. Those provide important nutrients for the soil. Finally, in this garden box, I have some, I think they're called Walla sweet onions. Now, my mom was just telling me the other day actually that I should be folding down these stalks to encourage the onions to grow bigger underneath the soil. So I need to do a bit more research about that, but so far they're growing really tall, as you can see. Now, in behind my garden boxes, you'll notice that we took advantage of some extra space and planted some potatoes. Next year I hope to put those in a box, and then we're actually going to spread some gravel throughout all of these garden beds. But for now, we thought we might as well take advantage of the space and plant some potatoes. So all along the back row there and off to the side there, you'll see our potato plants are growing like crazy. Now this garden bed is mostly just different types of lettuce. I've got all sorts of romaine lettuce here. I've got some green head lettuce and red head lettuce, and butterleaf lettuce in there as well. You'll see the kale. Now we've actually harvested quite a bit of this lettuce. A friend of mine thankfully told me early in the season that when you harvest the lettuce, you don't actually pull it off right at the bottom. You have to leave just a little bit so that it actually encourages some new growth to keep coming. So it's really nice to be able to run out here and grab just a few leaves of lettuce every time we need it. When I'm whipping up lunch or supper, it's really great to have it on hand all the time. You'll also see the kale has taken off. I've harvested a couple of times from here now, and it's still just growing away. In behind the kale is our corn. Not really sure what to expect from this, but it is growing and looks perfectly healthy. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Beside the kale, I've actually got a little eggplant plant right here. There's a spaghetti squash, a white pumpkin, and a regular butternut squash. The squash are actually taking up more room than I'd expected, so that's something to remember for next year, I guess. Right now, I'm just hoping that it doesn't grow so big that it takes over the other plants in this bed, so we'll have to see how that goes. The broccoli as well has really taken off. I wasn't expecting it to grow this big either, so that one's another one that I'll have to make sure I leave a bit more room for next year. Now, none of the squash plants nor the broccoli have any flowers on them yet, but I'm hoping that those will be coming soon. And then finally at the front of this garden bed, I've got some Swiss chard. I've actually harvested all of these plants once, just cutting them completely off almost, and this is the second growth. Again, I just made sure I left some a bit above the soil there. Now in this last garden bed, we have planted 3 different kinds of peppers here along the edge. There's a red pepper, a green pepper, and a purple pepper. Say that 5 times fast. All of these are going to be sweet bell peppers. Next to that, we have some zucchini plants. As you can see, they are already starting to flower. There's flowers everywhere, and I love zucchini, so I'm so excited to see how these grow. A few of the flowers are actually producing some zucchini already, so I'm not sure how much longer I need to wait to pick those, but that will take a bit of research for me too. And then next to the zucchini, we actually have some cucumber here. Now, we had a really awful windstorm a few weeks ago, and my cucumber leaves turned yellow and were full of holes, and I thought for sure they were goners. But even for as awful as they look, they're actually still producing cucumbers, so I'm going to let them be and see what happens. Okay friends, so I hope you enjoyed that tour of our first garden. Things are coming along really well. We're so excited to see how things grow through the season. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel for even more farmhouse style DIY, decor, and recipe ideas. Thanks so much for watching.